Then Anu and Bel called by name me, Hammurabi, the exalted prince, who feared God, to bring about the rule of righteousness in the land, to destroy the wicked and the evildoers, so that the strong should not harm the weak, so that I should rule over the black-headed people like Shamash and enlighten the land, to further the well-being of mankind.
Greetings guys, fellow fans of Age of Empires games. Here is WanSaweR and welcome in this video. Today we shall talk about the Babylonians, the inhabitants of the ancient city of Babylon, which once controlled Mesopotamia. They are a playable civilization in Age of Empires 1 and of course in Age of Empires 2, the EA Return of Rome. As I mentioned in my Assyrians video, I am making series on my channel where I will do overviews on all civilizations in Age of Empires games. I hope you will enjoy this video, so let's begin our tale on Babylonians. Babylon was founded as a kingdom around 1900 BC by Amorites, who overran much of Canaan, Akkad and Sumer. In 1792 BC, the small kingdom was inherited by Hammurabi, who ruled until 1750 BC. During those 42 years, Hammurabi expanded the kingdom to rule all of Sumer to the east and Akkad to the north. He also defeated the barbarian Gutians in the Zagros mountains to the northeast, who had previously sacked Akkad. He also pushed back the Elamites and the Assyrians. This was the first great Babylonian empire. However, following Hammurabi's death, the empire fell into gradual decline. In 1595 BC, Hittites drew down the Euphrates and sacked Babylon, plundering the city and deposing the Amorite kings. This ended the First Empire. Within 20 years, new invaders called the Kassites had settled around Babylon, establishing a new dynasty. The Kassites probably came from east of the Zagros mountains, because they were neither Semitic nor Indo-European in their origin. They ruled Babylon for several centuries before being conquered by the Assyrians in 1158 BC. Descendants of the Amorites then restored control by 1027 BC. During the 8th and 7th centuries, the Chaldeans, new Semitic migrants to the area, and the Assyrians fought for control of Babylon. The Assyrians claimed sovereignty for a while, but sacked the city once as punishment for rebellion. Then the Chaldeans seized the Babylonian throne and then destroyed the Assyrians with the help of the Medes. The Chaldean dynasty and the new empire lasted from 626 to 539 BC. The new empire then overran most of the Assyrian Empire, from the Persian Gulf to the borders of Egypt. In 597 BC, Nebuchadnezzar II captured Jerusalem and forced its king and nobles into exile. When the puppet ruler of Jerusalem rebelled, the city was taken again in 586 BC after an 18-month siege. This time, however, much of the population was deported to Babylon, and their descendants remained there until released by the Persians. This period of Hebrew history was called the Babylonian captivity. In 556 BC, the last of the Chaldean dynasty, Nabonidus, took the throne of Babylon. He worshipped the moon god Sin, but neglected local affairs and important religious rituals associated with other gods. For several years he didn't perform the important New Year festival in the name of Marduk, the deity of Babylon that renewed the fertility of the land. He also introduced reforms that gave effective control of temple finances to himself. With unrest and dissatisfaction, these events fostered came at a time when a new power to the east, Persia, had been gradually expanding and spreading its influence. Under Cyrus I, the Persians had first overthrown their masters, the Medes, and then expanded to the northwest into Anatolia. During this conquest, Cyrus demonstrated a high degree of tolerance and clemency that encouraged others not to resist. When Cyrus turned against the Babylonians, he was welcomed by a large segment of the population, including the influential priests. Cyrus first defeated Nabonidus in a battle at Opis. Nabonidus then fled to Babylon, but the city surrendered without a fight on October 12, 539 BC, and the last Babylonian king went into captivity. The Jews and other peoples held in Babylonian captivity were freed. Then the entire new empire of Babylon ceased to exist and became part of the Persian Empire. The Babylonians focused more on defense rather than offense. Their increased stone mining and additional hit points for defensive buildings made them more prepared to enemy rushes early in the game. In the beginning of the game, through the Tool Age, a turtling strategy is recommended once enough stone is gathered. By investing time to mine stone instead of other resources, the player can defend themselves from early rushes if defensive structures are placed at strategic locations. But if too much time is spent on gathering stone for fortifications, the player may fall technologically behind compared to other players, since food production will stagnate, making advancing ages more difficult. The Babylonians are a well-balanced civilization and are best if played offensively in the Bronze Age, after the player has established fortifications during the Tool Age. Babylonian priests are a force to be reckoned with, since they can convert enemy units faster than other civilizations. Since there is no limit to the amount of units to be converted, the Babylonians can simply reach past the population limit with ease, without spending time on constructing houses or training more units. They are a good choice in random maps and are the most powerful in the Bronze Age, but their power slowly declines once Iron Age takes place. The Babylonian player's dog and academy are terrible in the Iron Age, and the only upgrade in stable is the Scythe chariot. The archer range is somewhat better, with access to composite bowman, chariot archer, and horse archer. But the Babylonians cannot field elephant units of any kind. While the barracks offers a complete upgrade tree including the legionary, the storage pit has nothing to offer in the Iron Age, and the siege workshop, while granting the heavy catapult, doesn't allow them even the basic ballista to be built. On the other hand, the Iron Age Babylonian player can exert good map control by aggressively building ballista towers, a force to be reckoned with, considering the plus 75% HP bonus. With that, we come to an end of our story on Babylonians. All I can say is, the Babylonians are a pretty interesting civilization and a good choice for new players who like more turtling strategy rather than fast aggressive. They are primarily a defensive civilization in both land and water maps. They can survive multiple enemy rushes with their increased tower and wall hit points bonus. Thank you guys for watching this video. Consider subscribe to my channel, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to click on like button. Making such a video is not an easy task and takes a lot of time, so I appreciate any support which I can get. Also, don't forget to visit me on Twitter and Instagram. See you later guys, and have a nice day. The Babylonians worship many gods, but chief of these was Marduk, god of the city of Babylon. Marduk was represented by a dragon in the artwork that decorated the city. Festivals were held throughout the year in honor of specific gods to assure their favor. The New Year festival for Marduk assured fertility in the fields. For a brief time, the new empire was among the richest in the world. The city reflected that wealth in its extensive and highly decorated monuments. The interior of the Temple of Marduk was reportedly covered with gold. At the center of a great and rich running empire, the people of Babylon had access to exotic goods and manufactured items from throughout the world.